This is episode 2 of Fringe Review. Wrap your lugs round this. Yes, another episode where we are reviewing some of the cream of the crop of Edinburgh Fringe. So yeah, get yourself a drink, relax and enjoy. Now for Fishbowl. This was one of my top picks, early contender for one of the shows of the Fringe for me. So we went along to see Fishbowl, and that was at the Pleasance Grand.
Huge venue.
Absolutely huge venue, and this had a packed audience.
For the size of it, definitely.
Yeah. So when we walked in, we were pleasantly surprised.
Supplies.
Supplies.
So,
yeah, we were pleasantly surprised.
Surprised.
Yeah, so we were surprised, but
rightly so.
Yeah, because as I mentioned previously, this is an award-winning show. It's a big award as well, the Moliere Award. So yeah, deserved to have an audience in there. And this show, I can't say anything about the script.
Is that because it's wordless?
It's wordless. No, it is great. This script is crafted with an inch of its life. Yeah, there are no words. It's a silent performance by the actors. It's all physical comedy, and it's done wonderfully. I mean, just three characters who live in this same apartment block. They're neighbours. It tells a story of two people who live in their apartments. They've been living there a while next to each other, and then a young lady moves in next door, and how their lives change. It's a pretty simple story, but it's told wonderfully through their physicality.
And it's not afraid to hit dark moments.
No, there is some very light moments, but then there is a touch of darkness in there as well. So they are brave to go into those places, and I applaud them for that. You know, I've always said I'm a huge fan of physical comedy and silent comedy movies as well. You know, the classics, the Chaplins, the Laurel and Hardys. And also
the Mr. Beans.
Mr. Bean of modern times, you know, both big fans of Mr. Bean, this physical comedy. And also as well, you know, Disney do it with Wall-E.
And Cirque du
Soleil do it with their clowns. And the Minions as well. It's, you know, when you watch the film The Minions, I love the Minions, and you watch the Minions and you have no idea what they're saying, but you still know, you know. You still know, and you still get the comedy, and it's wonderful. So
and there's that lovable element to it all.
Yeah, and these three characters in Fishbowl, you know, they've all got their problems
and their quirks.
But you can't help falling in love with them through this, you know, the emotion and the physicality of it all.
And it builds so gradually with such precision.
Yeah,
it's clever.
It's very, very slow and deliberate at the start, and then does pick up the pace, and it gets frantic in the middle, and then it settles back down a bit. So it's paced beautifully. As I said, the script, it's wordless, but it's crafted so well.
Within an inch of its life.
Yeah, and what helps this even more is the amazing sound design. I think the sound design on this is absolutely outstanding. Again, that's so well crafted, so well timed. That's the only sound in this. And it's, you know, you've got to be on point with that, or the gags don't go over. So I think the sound design on it is absolutely tremendous. And speaking of sound, I thought one of the characters who had to sing in this performance had an outstanding voice. Even though most of it was comedy. You know, the songs were there as comedy, but I think his actual
chops.
Yeah, his singing chops were outstanding. Got to applaud him for that. But this production, I cannot say it's faultless. You know, sightlines are an issue if you're not sitting dead centre. You know,
you might see more than what you bargained for.
Yes, there's some little sight treats there as well. But yeah, I think if you're sitting on the sides, you might miss a little bit. I think you could have done with the set being slightly further back. But that being said, that's just a little niggle.
But what about the three characters? I mean, that energy from start to finish, it was off the scale.
Yeah, and this wasn't an hour show either.
No.
It ran at
an hour 15.
An hour 15. and they start to finish, they didn't stop. They were constantly on the move, and they were working their asses off.
They were.
And I thank the Lord that they did, because I absolutely adored this. This is something that appeals to me in a big, big way. I've always said, as an actor, if you can't tell a story without words, then you're not really an actor. And this goes to prove it. These guys, through their physicality, their bodies, they told a story, multiple stories, and they did it so well.
And what a finish. I don't think I've laughed so much in my life.
Yeah, we can't spoil it.
No
we can't
spoilers.
say, but just when you think it's ended, it hasn't. And I guarantee you, this is one of the...
It's a treat worth waiting for.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest laugh out loud moments I think I've had in a long time. So yeah, it's got that a little treat at the end. So look out for that. But this is a production I thoroughly loved from start to finish. I sat with a smile on my face. It brings laughter. It brings emotion.
It brings shock.
It brings shock at times as well. And this is up there as a contender for my top show of The Fringe.
I'm right behind you with that.
Now on a bit of stand-up comedy. We went to see JJ Whitehead, Canadian comedian. He's been doing The Fringe for a long time. Well, he has been, but he's been away for a few years. So this is his first show back after a little hiatus. So he returns to The Fringe with his show, 5 Times I Lied to Myself, Gilded Balloon TV it. I haven't seen JJ in a long while. I first saw him on TV back in the day, and I just loved this guy. He's got a lovely charm about him. He's very likeable as a comedian. Now, in this show, his venue is next to another venue that has a quiz show going on, and the bleed of noise coming into JJ's room was terrible, but that didn't put JJ off. He powered on through it. He made gags of it, and he did it like an absolute trooper. He's a great joke teller. He's a great joke slinger, as they say, and his stand-up this year is all about those moments where, yeah, he's lied to himself. He's trying to convince himself of certain things. These stories are wonderful stories. I'm not the biggest fan of one-liner comedians, one-liner gags. I mean, they have the place, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad against them, but that's not my kind of comedy. I love stories. I love real stories. It's like you're having a conversation with these people, like you're in their living room and they're letting you into their secrets and talking about their life. And that's what I like about JJ. He tells these stories. He tells these stories like you're just chatting over a pint, and that's it. You get drawn into these lovely, wonderful stories, and that's what he's good at, man. These stories make you laugh, they make you cringe, but he does it so well. This is a great hour's comedy. If you can get yourself to see JJ Whitehead, the boy's back, and he's still doing it, man. He spent a little bit of time in the TV world with Jim Jeffries, so he's back to make you laugh at this year's Fringe, and he does that, and he does it well. Now, as tasters, again, this was something that caught my eye early on. I saw it on writer Max Brooks's Twitter page. So I'm a big fan of Max Brooks as a writer. So I'm at BookCon. So I clicked on this link for a show written by his wife, and I was instantly intrigued. Now, this is a true story, Hitler's tasters. Hitler did indeed have women who would taste his food in case it was poisoned, so he wouldn't die. So yeah, you had these tasters that would taste his food. So that's what the premise of this play is. It's about these young women and their lives, everyday lives, working together, their relationships together, and what it's like being the Führer's food tasters. So yeah, these group of women, they're together, they're spending their time together and their relationships. Now, what I noticed about this play is their behaviour and their interaction and their dialogue. It seems like it's of now. It seems quite modern in the way they react, but in another sense, it is very German. It is very of the time. It's a weird little mix in the writing and the way it's played, which I thoroughly enjoy. The conversations, there's humour in there, there's darkness in there, there's laughs in there, and there's a bit of anti-Semitism in there, anti-American things in there. Yeah, it's very of the time, but again, it speaks to now. Some of those things are still being kind of talked about, and people are still having those views and stuff. So again, it's like it is of the time. It is very Deutschland. It is very German. The Führer and the Third Reich and all that kind of stuff. But there's things in it that you still see and hear now. This is, it's a great piece of theatre. It's all female cast, female writer, and yeah, hashtag Women of the Fringe. They're doing it, and they're doing it well in this piece. Big advocate of Women of the Fringe with this one. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got wonderful writing, wonderful performances, wonderful characters, and it speaks of then and it speaks of now. So this is a great little piece to see. Spend your time at the Fringe with Hitler's Tasters. So here we are, we have just been to the Space UK's press launch 2019. We have just witnessed their showcase, a little teaser of what they have on offer this year at the Fringe in their venues. It's a great little afternoon. Stacey, anything that caught your eye?
Well, from the talent on offer, I feel that Teach, Predictably Irrational, Dream of a King, and the Aretha Franklin story were ones that really jumped out and caught my attention.
Yeah, I agree with a few of those. Dream of a King was beautifully performed. That's based on the life and times of Martin Luther King. Aretha Franklin's story, sung beautifully by Cleopatra Higgins, who some might remember at a certain age in the 90s.
90s and from The Voice.
Cleopatra coming at ya.
Thriller Live.
Yes, I think she's also done the Tina Turner story.
Yes.
At the Space. Also, yeah, what was it? Predictably Irrational. That did grab my attention, didn't it? Because it's all about the decisions we make every day, daily basis. Are we forced into those decisions by companies and marketing?
Clever tomfoolery behind things.
Yeah, so that's one to make you think. But yeah, I do like the concept of that. Did really seem interesting to us. But yeah, we've had a great afternoon at the Space UK press launch. Press launch. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Fringe Review. Please tune in next time for a few more reviews, a little more goss, and a little bit more of us pattering on. So, till then, farewell from Monkey Boy Miller and Stacey as well.